We are back again. We are live again. Another pre-Dynamite live show from Wrestle Purist, hosted by myself, Big AO, Joe Hulbert, and of course, as always, Charlie, our favourite British Elite fan. And we're definitely going to be talking a lot about the Elite today. Kenny Omega is the thumbnail because I want to talk about All In. I want to talk about the main event of All In. I want to talk about the build to All In. And speaking of the main event of All In, it is most likely that Kenny Omega is probably involved in it. So that's the reason for the thumbnail. That's the reason why I want to get into All In today. And of course, we're going to preview Dynamite. We're going to get into Brandy Rhodes. She has, unfortunately, retired from in-ring competition. We are all mourning it here at Wrestle Purist and hoping the best in her future endeavours. She's been talking about those as well. I think she's starting like a yoga studio or something like that with DDP. I don't know. Something interesting along those lines. But yeah, man. First things first. Please like, subscribe, super chat if you're feeling generous. It's always appreciated. And please turn on our post notifications so you are aware every time we go live. I hope everyone's doing good. Starting with my fellow co-hosts. Start with you, Charlie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Excited for Dynamite. Enjoyed the G1 this afternoon. Well, this morning, not this afternoon. Not really been out too much. We've been redecorating the front room, so that's what I've been doing a lot of the last couple of days, just peeling wallpaper off the walls. So it's been a great time.
Happy days. Do all that decoration. So
Yeah,
you'll be proud of it when you finish it. I'm sure you'll be showing
absolutely.
it off. But yeah, happy days. Big AO, how you doing, big man?
Yeah. Woke up early for the G1. The matches.
How early is it over there
necessarily-
for you?
Literally
5:30
a.m. But I didn't. I woke up at 5:30. But it's whatever because I used to wake up at 5:30, go to the gym all the time. But I woke up at 5:30.
Same.
Started cooking breakfast. It was 6:00. I saw Evil was first in the car. Me and Joe used to be in there together, bro. Saw Evil was first in the car. Said I had time to make breakfast. Made myself an omelet. Sat down, watched the G1, and Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii just put on a religious experience, bro. They went in there and they waxed the fuck at each other and dropped each other on their necks. And this is what we watch this great sport of wrestling for. Monty's a flips guy. Joe, he's a deathmatch guy. Me, I want people throwing hands. I want people dropped on their neck. You feel me? All that good shit. So I was happy that I saw that live because I was regretting it a little bit going through that show this morning. It wasn't Ghetto wasn't sending his best when he put this card together. Put it that way, but they did their thing.
Yeah, you got enough pops out of it, I'm sure. Joe, I know hard days graft at the gym, as you were just mentioning. Surprised you made it, man. Surprised you made it to the podcast. How are you feeling today, man?
I'm okay. I mean, I had a different experience, obviously, with the match than AO because my deathmatch fandom. I mean, they were chopping, and I was like, can someone bring out a door or something? It's kind of frustrating for me the lack of creativity, but it's fine. I guess we'll talk about it. Eddie Kingston.
Joe's watching that match. He's texting me. He's like, "Where the fuck are the syringes and penises over here?" Like, I'm trying to
penises.
He's trying,
where are the penis syringes?
I don't know, man. It's kind of outdated to me, but whatever. Let's talk about professional wrestling. I went full hooper this evening and slept before the show, which I don't know how he does this. When he does it, he wakes up with these like extravagant towers of triumph and glory. I just feel like shit, to be honest with you. So
bro, when I fall asleep before a show, the last thing I'm trying to do is actually podcast.
It's brutal.
I got a nap early in the afternoon. I can't do it close to the show. I have to get my naps in early.
I need like a 2-hour block to just wake up and do nothing else. And I actually had about 20 minutes. It's very different, but we'll try our best.
Yeah, man, he's just he's a different species, He's not like the rest of us. So yeah, man, he's very different. Definitely, like I said, different species. He's very much interested in this alien news that he's been seeing on Twitter lately. He's all in on it, He's something else. But Joe, besides feeling a bit, groggy, needing a minute to wake up and stuff, how are you feeling? Because I know you've been feeling a bit under the weather, as we say over here in England.
I'm making my way, through the kind of scale of because my like 10 out of 10 is still you know, it's still Hulk, but it's still not exactly, you know, free flowing. I'm not sort of running the streets or anything in jubilance. I mean, it is what it is, but I am feeling better, slowly but surely. I'm doing okay, mate. I will say today, you know, with all jokes aside, that G1 match was enough to make anyone feel better. I think that was a real experience. That was special. So
Reinvigorated.
it really was. That was like, the whole tour is surreal from an Eddie Kingston point of view, but I was kind of, after the last two matches, I was like, oh, I just wish things had worked out differently, because the Hanare match was pretty good. But, you know, it's like when Hanare is one of the matches you're looking forward to for a guy, it kind of tells you where the G1's at. I mean, out of respect to do, but it is what it is. Today was like, that's the G1. You know, that was why we wanted him in this tournament. So it was a thrill for sure.
Yeah, it's probably the match of the tournament so far for me anyway. So,
yeah.
You know, it's just surreal seeing Eddie out there, you know, taking it in. And the crowds are taking to him, you know, bit by bit. I love it.
They love him over there. He's probably not making out his block. How do y'all feel about that?
I think it's kind of to be expected, but unfortunate, you know. I think it's Finley and Shingo, right? I've always kind of thought that, yeah.
When I saw it, I was just like, he's probably not getting out of here. Because New Japan, for whatever reason, they like Evil. And then, you know, Shingo, while he's not pushed as much as fans want him to be, he is protected. So he's going to get his wins. And then Finley's got this whole new Bullet Club thing going on. So they're not going to cut him off at his ankles on his first G1 being Bullet Club leader. So he's making it out. It was never a great spot for Eddie.
Yeah, it's a good block for the matches, but never for the kind of like the hope of him winning the block or even getting out of it. You know, so for all the reasons that I just mentioned. So, you know, before we dive in and we let a few more people filter in, we're going to some super chats and some chats, etc. QB $5, appreciate you. Who do you hate the most right now? House of Torture or Dark Order?
Okay, look, we'll have our issues with Dark Order. We're all friends here. House of Torture make Dark Order look like the New World Order. I mean, seriously, this is come on.
For real.
There's levels, right? There's levels.
Yeah, that's don't know how they keep getting away with it, you know. Showtime Spurs $5. Appreciate you as always. My vision of Brandy 2 bouts in WWE has ended. No questions at this time. I know, man. It's like I said, bro. We're all mourning it over here. You know,
there's always a chance Brandy's pulling a funker. She's coming back, baby.
The big return.
I always said that to me like before. He's like, man, she's doing the Terry Funk bit again.
She's doing the funk, bro. When next WrestleMania, when it looks like Cody's finally gonna finish the story, he's finally gonna pin Roman. He has him up for the 17th Crossroads. And this one's gonna be the 17th. You know, the 17th is the one that always puts them away.
Absolutely.
So it's just the last one. Solo Sikoa comes out of nowhere, hoodie on like a hooligan, throws it off. Oh my God, he's got his thumb wrapped. He's about to Samoan fight Cody. And then you just hear CBO on flex. CBO on flex. Bro, the crowd's splitting like the Red Sea. Like she's Moses, the crowd just splits. She runs in there. She does whatever her finisher is on Solo. I think it's a spear or something. Oh my God, the crowd is gonna go wild.
I can't wait.
You have such a way with words. It's incredible.
Brandy, I'm going in to win. I don't know the rest of the words.
Don't need to. You know. Leave the memories alone, you know. Darren Cage, you $5, appreciate you. Has anyone gotten their hands on the stand-up material Manny's preparing for the aliens? Like I said, man, Manny's all in on this alien news that's been emerging on Twitter, and I think Darren's referring to the tweet where Manny said he's working on a 5-minute stand-up bit, so the aliens figure out that he's what is it? The aliens have some use for him or something like that.
For me to care about this alien thing at all, y'all gotta show me some pictures, some videos, something. I don't care about words anymore, bro. It's just more conspiracy theory bullshit. I gotta see some hard evidence over here.
Beautifully said. Have you guys seen this latest chapter? Ibu's fandom.
Bro.
Tony D'Angelo. It feels like a victory lap for myself.
Bro, he's
Bro,
memeing, bro.
I've been trying to preach the good word Tony D. For a minute now. People think it's a beat. It's not a beat, bro. Look at the clips that Ibu was posting earlier. Brother can suplex. Can suplex big man, brother.
He can suplex. I'm not going to take that away from him. He can suplex.
He's a real deal, man. He's a real deal.
Bro, for some reason, like, Tony D's size doesn't come through on the television well enough at all times. Like, sometimes you're just like, yo, he's this fucking big? Like, he doesn't come across that big all the time.
Yeah, man, he's got a huge chest and shit, Big guy, Hulbert, very much like yourself,
Yeah.
Just you've been known to throw a few suplexes. You coming around on Tony D yet, or do you still think I'm memeing?
I think he's a good talent. I think the act is like absolutely memeing. I think there's only a certain lifespan to the gimmick. It's a fun gimmick, but
he's good at it though.
No, yeah, he is. Yeah, I do agree with you. He's a good talent. I haven't watched as much as you have. I don't enter, the chat to my own podcast and say Tony D. He looks like he throws some good suplexes. Big fella. I'm told he has a big chest now. There's exciting things going on in NXT.
Big boy, brother. But he only had to mess around, Like we're coming for gold next week. No, this weekend with Stacks, The brother Stacks always kept it 100, always kept it low,
This
low
weekend.
to the soil.
Is it Great American Bash?
I think so.
Okay, good.
Oh.
What's this? I'm sending Ibu a link because he's requested one. So if we get background work noise, I'm gonna just
put
an end to that immediately.
Yo, give me those links so y'all can hear my background conversations with my coworkers. No, nigga, no.
Alright. What have we got? Mazfan 84199. Appreciate you very much. Inui Fulton. Inui, one of the best boxers I've ever seen. Yeah, that was Inui put a beating on the boy. It was.
We lost a minute of that fight, man. That was ridiculous.
That shit was ridiculous. Look, I'm just gonna say what everybody's thinking. That shit was racially motivated, bro. You don't beat a nigga up like that unless there's some hate in your heart. I'm telling you, bro. I don't want to hear about the love of the game, the sport, or that's just boxing, anything. Oh my god, it's never funny.
What is going on here, brother? I'm putting you on mute so you can figure that out,
Wait, what happened? What I do? What's going on?
You sound like you was getting run over,
No, I was just crossing the street. I want to greet everybody here. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I'm listening to this on my way to work, and I just gotta say, man, you were right, Monty. You were right.
Nothing new.
I gotta say, Tony D and Stacks versus, and these are real names, folks, Bronco Nima and Lucien Price, is the greatest 2-star match I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like Joe, you got to put this in a match guide.
No, Joe. No, bro. What's the point of a whole book match call if we can't get a review of that? Look, it's one of those matches. I'm telling you, Joe.
Joe, I'm kind of serious.
We'll see, folks. We'll see.
I'm seeing these 6'5" Dominican guys hitting the ropes and throwing lariats, while Booker T's talking about being from the hood with Reginald.
Damn, nigga, that shit made you horny?
No, it did not make me horny. I just felt like the medium was peaking right before my eyes. Like Tony D pops in and suplexes everybody. I was like, yo, this is the greatest 2-star match of all time.
What are the competitors for that?
Sure, LAX has a few. Sure, LAX has a few.
Couple Hogan matches in there, probably.
Let me go through some old WCW Worldwides, and I'll have an answer. I'll have an answer. In other news, G1 Night 5 was more like it. You know what I mean? I'm a little behind from you guys, but that night was awesome, man. Fucking Kaito and Shota, and Taichi and Okada.
Ah.
You know, Gabe Kidd and Ren Narita, Osprey and Kenta. Kenta was doing some things, you know.
That was a real
That match
card.
that was awesome. That was like a genuinely top to bottom excellent show. I thought.
Wrestle Pierce Galaxy, I need y'all to know that Monty has a Ren Narita agenda, right? And he watched Ren versus he watched Ren versus Gabe Kidd, and he thought that was a good time to run a victory lap with IGNs saying that Ren's not real. It was a good match. It was a really good match. What did you like about it, Mont?
All right, so you say why that was a good match? Mainly because of that. You know why that was a good match, Al?
Why?
It's mainly because of that kid from the Midlands in England, you know.
Fucking brother.
Gabe Kidd, you know. He's actually impressed me quite a lot. Like, considering I've been kind of like overall, I've been compared to, you know, previous years, I've been kind of down on the G1 this show. It's not really like, you know, it's not giving me them G1 feelings, except for the, you know, one or two matches here and there. But, yeah, exactly. So, you know, but Gabe Kidd, you know, he's making the most of his run in the G1. He's
straight out of Birmingham. Your age, y'all know each other? Could you just call up Gabe Kidd and just, you know?
Yeah, man. Get him on Wrestle Purist.
Get on Wrestle Purist.
We will break down why he's better than Ren Narita.
Look,
is what we'll do.
Right now he is better than Ren Narita. I'm not gonna
lie. What do you mean right now, bro?
He is better. Right now he's definitely better than Ren.
He just is.
But I don't think that's I think he's very talented. I don't think that's a slight on Ren at all.
I think Ren's engagement and motivation is up and down. You know, there's times when he kind of
this is true, by the way, but still the Midlands.
There's times when Ren kind of goes through the motions, but I think what happened with the Gabe match was that LA Dojo just kind of mutual resentment came out. What's going on? You know what I mean? Like, you know when like your fellow student is there, and you get real spiteful. There was that kind of competitive edge going on. So that's what worked for me there. Two things before I get out of here. Number one, it really is a shame that Rhea Ripley doesn't wrestle more because I think she's become the total package. She wrestled an absolute fucking rando yesterday in Lyra Valkyra and had like a near 4-star match. And I just was like,
it's pretty good, man.
I couldn't believe what I was. I mean,
she had that good match with Tiffany Stratton as well.
Yeah, but
it's not like it's her first good match in ages or anything.
It's just a person, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a person. And that was very impressive. And
still sporty.
She'd be right up there with women's MVP if she did more matches.
She fucking doesn't, so she's not. All right.
Exactly. I didn't say otherwise. My parting question to you guys is, because Monty was a little spiteful about this privately. Do you guys think Pac versus Gravity will be anything more than a meme?
I've never seen Gravity. Actually, yes, I have. I've seen him wrestle in some indies. But I don't know, bro. It's Pac. I'm always happy to see Pac wrestle.
You didn't watch the Gravity versus Commander match? Did Monty leave?
I'm weak. I was doing something. I couldn't watch Gravity versus.
Yeah. Ayo, Monty got a Gravity agenda.
I think it's good wrestler.
When you share blood with Bandito, people expect a certain level of you know, it's not easy. It's not easy having an all-world talent in your family.
How many Hyuk tweets are we gonna see on the timeline tonight about the Neville Gravity meme?
Bro, people have done
17.
When was that before this on Friday? Bro, there's been 17 jokes about it every day since Friday. You don't need any more, bro.
The funniest thing is gonna be like the 19th guy who thinks he's the first guy to come up with this. You know, he's like, it looks like you forgot him.
He's crap. You just know TK. TK can't help himself, bro. Pac's gonna say something about Gravity forgot me or something like that.
Yeah, he's gonna say it anyway. Yeah.
Ay.
Are you ready for this, Joe? Are you fired up for Mr. Gravity versus Pac, sir?
I didn't see the match on Friday, so this is going to be a new experience for me. I saw.
He's a good wrestler.
I'll put it this way: I saw some takes on the timeline about Gravity, and I got different responses privately. I'm going to leave it at that.
Ibu, all right, Ibu. Gravity, better or worse? Realistico.
This is dangerous.
Jalisco's more fundamentally sound.
Oh my god.
And more. more
I like
professional.
Drilistico too. I don't hate him as much as everybody else, but I know what everybody else thinks of Drilistico.
His-
Yeah,
So.
but to be fair, would you describe him as fundamentally sound?
No, I wouldn't.
Well-
so to say somebody who's about to wrestle on
Wait,
national television
here's
is
the thing,
less
here's the thing,
fundamentally sound than
here's the thing.
Drilistico.
Gravity's more ambitious and tries more
Okay.
creative and quirky and dynamic things. Drilistico's more steady. I'll put it that
Okay.
way. He's more steady.
Well, we'll see what happens, folks.
Look, I can work with creative.
Drilistico isn't gonna botch because he's just wrestling. Gravity might go for something that might not. I guess it's the thought that counts. I don't know. I think it'll be fun.
I'm sure it will. It's just a pack match. I don't think it will fall below like anything for this. Not fun, right? I think it'll be fun just on his skill alone. But
They're going 8 minutes.
It'll be a spectacle.
yeah, exactly.
Did Monty really just go? Like, did he really?
I'm not sure.
I'm like,
That's kind of
want to
beast.
bring him back up. I don't know if he like is busy now or something. He didn't say anything in the private chat.
I'm sure.
That's all right. It'll be okay.
I can't tell if he straight up just was like, fuck
Enough.
Gravity. He might have been.
Sometimes there's just topics you don't want to talk about. My camera goes up and just like, yeah, all right.
Charlie, off air, I was talking to him like when he found out Gravity was facing Pac. I've never heard him like that. Like the way he was acting with me, like it was genuinely frightening. like he lost his love of wrestling. Like he.
Incredible.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we should proceed with our program. Right?
I was gonna say I'll pass the ball to Joe. You got this, brother.
No,
Hopefully, Mr. Monty can make his way back on the ship. I'll leave you guys to it, man. Hopefully, tonight's a good show. I'm most excited for Darby and Swerve. I think that's going to be awesome. And bless up, everybody. Make sure to watch the Twitch stream.
Have a good
one.
one.
Have a good
Okay.
shift. Oh yeah.
So-
Speaking of which,
Yes.
yo, Monty came back.
Oh my god.
That's incredible.
Are we talking about professional wrestling again?
Oh my fucking god.
That's nice.
Yo, when did we stop? We was putting over Gravity.
I was ready to host there. I was like gearing up, and it scared me, bro. I
You're
wasn't ready
in
for
the whole,
that.
you're in the whole slot now.
Well, with that in mind, I had a chance earlier to elaborate on the Eddie Kingston, Tomohiro Ishii thriller from today's Korakuen Hall show. Let's get into that a little bit more, Monty, if you're okay with that. If I got my license here to run wild, let's do it.
Go ahead.
All right, Charlie, what did you make of Eddie's finest G1 match thus far?
It was match of the tournament so far, in my opinion. I fucking loved it. I've rewatched it already, which I don't really do with G1 matches because once is enough with some of them. But I rewatched this match earlier because I wanted to show it to my parents. It's just so fucking good, man. Like, you can tell that Eddie's having the time of his life, and I really don't know whether he's going to want to come back from Japan after this. So I'm just so happy for him. And, like, we all knew this was going to be a good match. But I honestly kind of blew expectations out the water as well. Like, they just killed it, man.
I think it's their best match together, which is saying something because their first two matches were tremendous. This was comfortably the best one thus far. Monty, what did you make of the big G1 match? I know you just watched it this evening.
July 26th, the day that the G1 actually started. Eddie Kingston bringing that real. As expected, him and Ishii, as Joe just mentioned, they've had two matches prior to this and they were both great. This is probably the best of the bunch. Eddie, man, he's just... makes you feel something, I'm there with him, when he's firing up or whatever it is. So with Ishii, man, and they just fucking whacked each other and dropped each other on the edge for a bit, and they made you feel every step of the way. It was a great bit of business.
Absolutely. AO, what did you make of it, mate?
Tears in my fucking eyes, man. What a fucking match. Eddie Kingston. I remember people used to say this, he literally is like the modern day Dusty Rhodes. It's so easy to root for Eddie, bro. Even though he'll be the first one to admit it, he might not be the greatest guy or wasn't the greatest guy in the past. He used to be a piece of shit. He used to knock out promoters for looking at him funny and shit. He's just like, bro, he's man of the fucking people, bro. He's the people's champion. Like, why is he this over in Japan, bro? Casually throws on the match of the tournament with a 50-year-old Ishii. Like, this is that real shit, brother. Easily match of the tournament. I said it on Twitter. I'll say it again on the podcast. I'm looking at Cage Match right now. It's the only match that has above a 9 on Cage Match of the tournament. First, New Japan 9 or above on Cage Match since the All Together Again 6-man tag. Yeah, man. So this is critically acclaimed and for good reason, bro. When Eddie finally wins the world title, bro, whether it be this year at fucking Arthur Ashe or whenever the fuck, bro, like there's gonna be some real like testimony on the timeline about how people saying Eddie changed their life and shit, bro. Because Eddie makes you feel something, bro. He makes you feel something. That's what professional wrestling's supposed to do. Shout out to Eddie Kingston.
Absolutely. I think also, we've all talked about the crowd, but Corrigan Hall is just, there's something magical about that place. Like it's striking when you've watched the G1 as closely as we have, and you get to some of the spots where it's like it's dead silent, there's empty seats, and it's like, God, it was great to this last couple of days, and I think tomorrow also, right? To be back in that setting. So I think it added a lot to the match, and it allowed it to really come to life because the crowd was so with it. The Tokyo crowds, as far as obviously with the last Corrigan Hall match, have been much more into King because they're more familiar generally. The idea is they're kind of more hardcore fans. I think they're more familiar anyway. So that was tremendous. Charlie, any other G1 matches from the last couple of days that you'd like to shout out?
God, I have a list. Hang on.
Okay.
Well, people ask me, they're just like, oh, what should I watch from today? I'm just like, I don't know off the top of my head. What was last night? That was...
I'll shout out Mikey Nichols' dedication to the game,
Yeah,
Mikey kill himself over this shit. He saw all the tweets about, bro, why are ZSJ's weed carriers in the G1? And he said, you know what? I'm willing to die to earn you internet trolls respect. And shout out to him because he's out there dying, but he's earning my respect.
Yeah, it's definitely something when in two of your matches, you have 4 matches, and in 2 of them, you get so violently concussed that you forget what's happening in the match. That is, I mean, that's scraps, folks. So that's some real that's some real shit for better or worse. So yeah.
Okada Yoshihashi was so much better than I was anticipating. Not because
they have good matches, man.
Yeah, like it's just like Yoshihashi isn't someone like outside of tag team wrestling that I like follow all that much. So I was a little bit surprised by how good that match actually was. And Gabriel Kidd versus Shoya Umino as well from Night 7. That match fucking rocked. That was Kidd's best match of the tournament so far. So
there's also Okada Taichi. What
else have I got on my list?
Yeah, it has to be said, Yoshihashi is quietly, over the last, I'd say 5 years, he's actually a very, very solid pro wrestler. He was a laughing stock, not long before that. But I think he's got a nice wrestler. It's good to see him having good singles in the G1.
I love that Sonata Suji match.
Yeah. I was better than the Dominion one, actually. I even liked it more than that.
Yeah,
I liked it more too. I think I would have had Suji go over there. But I guess you're going to save that win for something big down the line.
I think
Kiyomiya versus Sonata was another good one.
That was good shit. That was really good shit.
I think it's fair to say that, clearly as we talk about this, there are good matches in this G1. I mean, that goes with it. It's just, I think it's again a case of if only there was some editing around kind of the spare parts, right? Like not everyone needs to be in it because there's some great matches within this thing. It's just a little bit bloated, unfortunately.
30-something people, 4 blocks. It's unnecessary.
Just a little bit.
It's a lot bloated, let's be fair.
We got Osprey Kenta. Tonight we got Osprey Okada. Well, tomorrow morning we got Osprey Okada, man.
I'm very excited. Gabe Kidd versus Kaito Kiyomiya. That's going to be an interesting one.
I will say, I am optimistic that the quarterfinal format will allow the kind of finishing stretch to be more exciting than ever. I think that could be a thing. I think that could actually not make up for it because it's a lot of wrestling that's been added to the schedule. But I do think it could kind of make for a compelling close, even more so than usual. So, just as our G1 business handled, Monty, would you like to guide us into this kind of extended all-in talk you want to do?
I mean, I will segue into some super chats first, mate.
Do that.
We will do that. Zayd Natty 199. My German chef says hi. He's huge, by the way. 115 pounds, 5'7". You got what's the name?
Dog.
Yeah, man. Shout out Zayd's dog. Big German, Mass 184, 199. Appreciate you as well. Speaking of NXT, who's Wrestle Purist's favorite Q-pilled wrestler?
There's just so many. I don't know.
Let me just go through my catalog here. Let me.
Who is my favorite Q Pills wrestler?
I have no idea.
It's got to be Dragon Lee, huh?
Yeah.
He retweeted that funky thing, or was it a like, or I can't remember.
He like
He posted it
reposted
on
it onto his
Instagram.
story.
Real shame.
You're just asking the real questions, bro.
The real questions.
Mm.
You want to be silenced by you liberals. It is what it is, bro.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on over there, Ayo, you want to take this one?
Richard Starks, $2 super chat. Trust me, Ebu. Oh, I'm sorry. Trust me, Ebu loves anything with the
That's
Yo,
crazy.
Ricky Starks is he's like impossibly over. Good for him.
Man.
That
Ibu,
crowd reaction
would
on
you care to
Saturday was
comment?
something. Yeah, Ebu, you have anything to say? Right in the chat. You got anything to say about this?
He can unmute the mic. He's saying no comment, Darren Walker, £4. What was that Noam Dar segment on NXT, and why Cora Jade lose to Dana Brooke? Thought Cora meant to be one of the top female prospects in NXT. It sounds like you watch NXT, so like the Noam Dar thing is just, he's become a shell of himself since he lost the Heritage Cup, and he's been rolled around in a wheelchair, and they're doing that kind of bit where he's got no life left in him. And last night, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend presented him with a replica cup, and it brought some life back to him. That's probably my quickest way of explaining that whole shit,
So they're just rolling around Noam Dar.
People are taking to that metaphor group though. I don't know how or why, but two black queens, I'm all for it,
So what's the deal with this Dana Brooke business? Should she be Cora Jade?
Cora Jade, what's her name?
Cora Jade.
Yeah, not that one, John. The new gymnast girl that is in NXT, she's just debuted. Her name's like Kalani Jordan or something. Yeah, she's like light skin. So like she's been going around with Dana Brooke, and they're like gymnast buddies, and Cora Jade beat the shit out of Kalani the other week, and this was Dana Brooke getting back at her, and they had a kendo stick match.
Oh no!
Wow.
And it was it was pretty much what you'd expect it to be. It was Cora Jade versus Dana Brooke in a kendo stick match.
That bad, huh?
I hate kendo sticks, bro. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not for it.
I do not like them in
So
wrestling, bro. I don't care who has them. Man, you're good in my book. That's really it. Get that shit out of my face.
Yeah, man. But yeah, you know what? They were wailing on each other at certain points, but that's probably as far as it goes, But yeah, I don't know why, Darren. I don't know why. Cora Jade meant to be one of the top female prospects in NXT. I think that's what Twitter tries to tell you,
Bro, WWE was over here telling us she was the next Sasha Banks.
Oh, hold on.
They said it. They said it, bro. I don't watch NXT, so I can't tell you if they're pushing her or not.
They changed up the weather,
They had the machine behind her, at least at first. They had the machine behind her.
I mean, she's... For where she is in her career, like, it's not like she's fucking a 10-year pro or anything. I mean, she's all right, like, she's upper mid-card heel in NXT. Like, it's not, there's no shame in being in that position where she's at right now, and it's not like she's stinking it up. When you're having a kendo stick match with Dana Brooke, it's like, it's like, you know what I mean? But when she was in there with a real vet like Natty, we all remember that great 3 3/4 from Dave Meltzer. Some real wrestling, bro. She's all right, man.
Bro, I remember I was shitting on that match, and Monty was like, "What? It was a really good match." Natty really got her through it. I was like, all right, bro, I can't talk about Natalia Knight part with you, bro. The chat's telling me to respect Sheeta, so y'all are right. If you're not Sheeta the Sandman, I'm not trying to see you with the kendo stick. Can't lie.
All right, Darren KG again, $5. Appreciate you as always. To start the all-in discourse, I've stated this before, but Jamie versus Tony should main event Wembley. I have to disagree, man. And yeah, that can be the segue. It's the last super chat for now. Please keep them coming. The main event of All In at Wembley. Who do you think it's going to be? Like I said, I think it will probably involve Kenny Omega. That's kind of like my safe bet. I'm not sure against who. Probably, I don't know. That's what I want to talk about. Jamie versus Tony. I kind of get the sentiment behind it, but I don't know, man. You don't feel. I don't know. It just
Let's
it doesn't
just say it how
strike
it
me
is,
as.
right? All In's gonna go long. If you put a women's match on last, people are gonna leave before
That
the main
stadium will be
event.
empty,
That's
bro.
just how wrestling fans work. Like,
And look,
there's a large majority that will leave if that main events, which is a real shame because I think it
Especially
could
a
main
stadium
event.
show as well, man.
Yeah, but it
Ku-
shouldn't be in my.
Kazuchika Okada, right? Who thousands and thousands and thousands of people will tell you, in their opinion, is the greatest professional wrestler of all time, has been cucked 2 times in 1 calendar year trying to go on after Kenny Omega. Do not make that mistake with women, bro. And I'm not saying because women can't come into the tag, because like if they get cucked in the fashion that Okada got cucked, they won't recover. It's not going to be good. Don't do it. Everybody's going to leave. People are going to tune out. And I'm not saying it's the women's fault. It's partially TK's fault for not presenting them as like stars, like they should be presented, but they haven't been presented. And 4 to 5 weeks until all in is not enough time. Because do I think they can have bell to bell a quality match that's good enough to close the AEW pay per view? Absolutely. I'm a big fan of Tony. I'm a big fan of Jamie.
Yeah.
But like, is the infrastructure of the women's division there to support this match going on last? No. Is this what the majority of AEW fans even want to see main event? Not really. They would rather see Kenny or Punk or something of that, or Dragon going against somebody crazy. Like, that's what they're trying to see, bro. It just is what it is, bro. It's reality. I would love to see women main event a pay-per-view one day. I hope it happens soon. I don't think Wembley is it or a good spot for that to happen.
Yeah, I think
it's tough because I think the way this card is trending, I do think there is a chance it ends up with like 7 matches that we all like as the co-main event, but we are uncertain as to what should actually close the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is an interesting place to be, and I think that will still result in an incredible wrestling show of the matches that we're kind of assuming will happen. But, we talked about it last week, right? Like, if Kenny's wrestling Takeshita, is that a main event at Wembley Stadium? I don't know. I mean, I think from a quality point of view, certainly it is. But I don't know if Takeshita has been given the television runway or presentation to be main event in Wembley Stadium anytime soon. And that's not a knock on him. He's incredible, but
I think there's enough time to get him there. Because the way that fans are behind him already.
So
yeah, like the way that fans are behind Takeshi already. If you just have him on TV doing engaging things for the next month, he's there, bro. He's ready. He's ready to win Wembley, I think.
I think if you see Takeshita as and I know a lot of people do see him as a future world champion, a future huge part of the company, then you can make more sense of it. But if you don't, then it's a very tough sell, I think. And it's a huge spot, bro, because they may not ever get an opportunity in front of a crowd this big, like again, or at least for a few years or whatever, So you want to you want to be able to open the history books, and this was main evented by 2 of our, I don't know, man. No, whether that's, I mean, I did. It'd be like Omega versus Punk, but like fucking.
Do we think this conversation is why Cole and MJF split is probably going to emerge a lot sooner than it should, because it's probably the match you need in main event Wembley?
Yeah.
Very possible.
And, there are ways to... I was thinking about this earlier. Like, there are ways you can do that build, I think, without doing the turn. And I was trying to figure out the best way to strike this. But the idea of them losing on Saturday, for example, and, Cole suggesting...
Agreed, Zaid. Agreed. Shout out Logan.
Shout out Logan.
Shout out Logan.
Continue, Joe. My bad.
That's all good. That was worthwhile. I agree with that. No, I think the idea of like a build where Cole suggests a match, because that's the only way to prove to one another that they truly are friends. Because neither of them will pull, like, what I'm saying? Like, we'll have a real wrestling match for the world title. And if we both go through that without doing something devilish or stabbing the other in the back, better man wins, and we'll go from there as friends, That may allow you to kind of balance it, because I don't think you want to do the turn angle in the next week or so. But let's be honest, if you want to do that match at Wembley, You may need to. So it's an
I
interesting.
like it. I quite like it, Joe. I think, especially like that kind of like it'd be like wrestling horseshit, which we all pop for,
Yeah.
And I think MJF and Adam Cole are capable of pulling that off, especially with the momentum and run they've been going on the past few weeks. So, I like the idea. I actually do.
So I'm gonna ask y'all one by one. What do y'all think should happen? What do y'all think is gonna actually happen? MJF and Adam Cole versus FTR. What do you think, Joe?
I think Roderick Strong cost them, and there is a turn on the following Wednesday.
Intentionally or?
I think intentionally. In terms of what I think should happen, I'm increasingly. I kind of feel like they should win the belts and do a rematch at Wembley. But then the issue with that is that makes sense in a vacuum. That doesn't really work for what we're talking about with what main events Wembley, because then that's your main event. And do you want that as your main event necessarily?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. And that's where you're in a tough spot. That's the best answer I've got for now, though.
Monty, what you got?
I think the winning goal, brother.
You think that's a good idea?
I think the winning. I think the winning the belts order. I genuinely do.
So then what do you think? What do you think that means for Wembley?
I don't know.
Real?
Let's be fair. As a fan, as someone who's going to the show, I'm more than happy with that tag title. If it's FTR versus Cole and MJF2 or whatever it may be, I have no problem with that. But I think as a promotion, they've got to want that belt to be on Wembley. And this is where it gets hard, right? It's like you want a world title match on that show. It does a lot for the belt alone. So I don't know. It's difficult.
Yeah, it is tough.
Saying
but that's why we're trying to figure it out.
85K people is
it's big.
It's a feather in the cap, bro.
All right, so
the Wrestle Purists tag team specialist extraordinaire. What do you think should happen with the AEW tag division?
I want the tag match on All In to be with established teams.
Yeah.
And I really love the MJF Adam Cole stuff, but I don't think they started it early enough in the year to warrant them being the tag team on All In. So I want them to win on Saturday, but I don't think they should, if that makes sense. Like, if All In wasn't happening, I'd be all for them winning, because I don't really care what happens at All Out. Like, it's just a pay-per-view that AEW does. All In's so different. But
right.
I don't know. I'm really stuck on it, because I really want the FTR Young Bucks match.
Well, that's relevant here, right? Because FTR... while their promo eventually became topical for other reasons, initially there was a newsworthy kind of moment there to me anyway, when Cash, he run down that list, right, of 3 teams, of teams they have unfinished business with. And it felt to me like that was a clue in some ways as to what they could be doing at Wembley in itself. So that I don't think we should ignore that, because that was the first time they've opened the door to Young Bucks FTR 3 in a while. Even if it was just one line, it's more than we've got for a long time. So
100%.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's one of the matches I noted down as well. It's like I was trying to brainstorm kind of what matches could possibly main event this pay per view, because you got like Kenny Omega versus Danielson, Takeshita. I don't know, possibly CM Punk versus Omega. Some other Joe.
That's the other thing. What's Punk doing? Because Punk's got a feud with Ricky Starks. He's got a feud with Samoa Joe. And he's also, 3 weeks ago, remember Jay White had the promo where he directly targeted, went directly in Punk's direction with his promo. So it's like...
You got the MJF thing as well.
Yeah. We assume that'll be Chicago, I think.
Yeah.
I think Max and Punk is Chicago. So it's like, what is Punk? Is Punk going to wrestle Ricky again? The last 2 TVs would suggest so, but the TVs before that would say Joe. So it's hard.
I assumed it would be Jay White this whole time. But it's just, I don't know. He's got.
I was convinced it was Jay White, and it was going
to
be
it doesn't look like
contenders match.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they're building towards this whole Ricky thing for a big TV blow off. But then how do you build?
And then what does Ricky do? Right?
Yeah, and then what is Ricky just not on the card and all in? Like I don't know, bro. I don't know.
MJF versus Cole we've already spoke about. MJF and Cole versus FTR spoke about, but Young Bucks versus FTR, man. I know we just touched on it, but
no.
I think that's good. I think that's good. That's definitely strong enough to main event that pay per view.
The restraining order is still active. All right, Max Howard, you have to stay. 10,000 feet away from Nick and Matt Jackson at all times. All right.
How does that work?
You're going to jail, brother. All right.
Where is Kyle O'Reilly? I think that could definitely play into some of the things that we've been speaking about. So
I feel like we can see Kyle any week now.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything.
Out for
as
over
a
a year.
fan, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think Kyle pop up any week now. It's been over a year.
right, so Homer $5 says almost an hour in and no one's talking about my girl Megan Bain for the red belt Megasus. And yeah, man, she debuted on the opening day of the 5-star GP, and shout out to her. She's obviously debuting in a really big spot. She's been doing her thing on the Indies, and you know, we'll see what happens there. See if she catches on in Stardom, because if you can catch on in Stardom, then you're going to be good in most people's book, I think. So, shout out to her, and hope she has to do her thing over there. You know,
not too familiar. Hope she does well.
Yeah, same. But yeah, man, what are we actually thinking then? As of right now, Dynamite's about to start in about an hour. So, you know, we might get more of a clue in that show, but, you know, where...
I think Tony is, for better or worse, someone who generally sticks to his plan. I think his plan was that MJF turns on Adam Cole and they wrestle at Wembley Stadium. Now, I'm not as heartbroken at that being what they do, if they do it, as some will be, but I absolutely do concede that does not feel like the right call right now at all.
Yeah.
Like, look, AEW has a lot of great wrestling, but in terms of things that are truly hot, the MJF Adam Cole thing is the closest to that, and beyond, honestly. It is that. It is hot, genuinely, that they've had in a while. If we're being real, right? Like, it's actually, people are really into it. Beyond it being, you know, great matches, great, like, the AEW's needed a centerpiece in terms of storytelling that people are really into. That's red hot.
Latched on to week to week.
Yeah, and this is it. So the question is, can you do a turn that's effective enough to spin it directly into a red hot feud, or are you just going to immediately put that fire out? That's the biggest challenge they have. I don't know.
So this is what I'd do, which is probably a bit ambitious. And I say this is what I'd do. I thought about it. I think I thought about it in the shower a few days ago, and it's randomly just came back to me in the past 20 seconds. So, you know, don't put too much weight on this, but you know, you do what you mentioned, Joe, about them. You know, like we go into it and it's like, you know, we're gonna have like a real wrestling match out of respect, and you like play up that bit, you know, and you get some really entertaining / funny / whatever TV out of it. And, you know, everyone's of course expecting MJF to turn on Cole, you know, but you've got Roddy in the background. We've just mentioned Kyle O'Reilly, so you do that match at Wembley, main event, in the way that you mentioned it, but you have Adam Cole turn on MJF. You do a double turn. You do a double turn with the Undisputed Era coming back, or whatever the fuck they're called in AEW, you know, and that's kind of like the big turn. And you spend the next month really drumming up like MJF as a babyface, making really likable, really kind of establish a connection that'll make people actually like feel sorry for MJF, which is kind of like the hard thing to do if you're going to try to pull that off. I think people would take to it, and I honestly think MJF as a babyface could like be like transformative. Like, I agree. So I think it's an opportunity to do something really brave, you know, and especially if you do it kind of like post-match, you know, kind of like a big bloodline angle in a stadium where you have like the big shocking like reaction to Adam Cole doing something or whatever it is, you know.
So would you have him do that in the match to win?
No.
Or post-match? Okay.
Post-match.
Yeah. All right.
Post-match. Just like the bloodline, brother.
I like it a lot, and I'm especially bullish on Max being the babyface. This is where their schedule is hard, though, because then you've got 2 big title matches to book for him immediately out the gate as a babyface. Yeah. Because you have Chicago, and then you have like 2 weeks of TV and you're at Arthur Ashe. It's like,
Chicago will always go with Punk, I think. I'd like have enough confidence in that.
But do you love that as the first step of him as a babyface? You know, like he gets turned on the next week. He's doing this match with Punk. Like
and he overcomes Punk, and that's like, you know, narratively, like even though obviously like the crowd in Chicago will go with Punk, but narratively,
sell it as MJF versus Chicago triumphing babyface.
100%.
Thing. He's like, it was me, one man versus the entire city.
It would
I don't
be
even mind
extremely impressive to pull it off, to
Yeah,
actually
that's the
pull it off
thing,
and make
like-
it work. This is just me floating an idea out
No,
there,
let's be clear here, folks. I don't think any of the ideas we come up with are going to have without issue, right? Because it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
it's challenging.
Yeah.
Is what it is. But like, I don't have a problem with the crowd response to Max in Chicago because that is what it is. I just like that as a way to when you do a big dramatic turn like that. The idea of him remaining champ and just moving into this other massive match that you have one TV to build or whatever it is, like, it's just hard,
Yeah.
man. It's
Yeah.
like. And that's why I kind of think in the end, Tony will just stick to what he originally had mapped out, and Max will be the heel, which I don't love, but I also get why he would do that because it's hard to be so fluid when you have 3 massive shows to line up.
Yeah.
So,
Bro, why
Stuff.
are these shows back to back?
yeah, I don't know.
There's not actually a good reason for it,
I mean, All
must have
In
just been-
is when it is because of the Bank Holiday Monday. If Bank
Yeah.
Holiday Monday was earlier in the month, then All In would have been earlier in the month, but it's the way it fell, so.
Yeah,
There's no excuse for All Out being the week after All In. Like,
But
Move
they
fucking-
do that
move All
in the
Out,
same
bro,
place
like-
every time, don't they? So
it's fascinating. The closer we get
It's
to
cool.
it, like, what's interesting is we had so many conversations beforehand about how this would work. And
Mhm.
it's actually worked out with the closer we get to it, the less I understand how they can do this. It's
I have
actually
no idea
really
how it's
challenging.
happening.
And like, look, at core, it's a good problem to have. Let's not lose sight of that, right? Like, oh, we've got to come up with a card for this 80,000 seat stadium show we're running the week before our pay per view. I mean, there's worse
we got
issues to have as a wrestling
15,000 the
promotion.
week after. Oh my god!
Right.
man.
You know, it's like, but it's just, it's a weird situation, and I don't know what the best route is. We're just still kind of kicking ideas around, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and that's kind of all I wanted to do, really. Kind of kick
Yeah.
some ideas around, see where everyone's at with it, really, because it feels like kind of what you was mentioning earlier, Joe, about like there's a lot of matches that we think could be really great co-mains and stuff like that, but to have like a definitive, clear, this should be the main event, it doesn't feel like we've got one of those yet,
Yeah.
A lot of us were kind of thinking Omega Ospreay a few months ago, and it seems like that's not going to be the one that happens. So that's kind of that. Omega Danielson could.
If you get Goldberg on this card in a tag match, you throw him in the main.
I would be leaving early.
An idea I saw floated around, right, was Goldberg and Swerve versus Sting and Darby in a coffin match, right? That can't main event All In, right?
No.
No,
No.
no,
I
absolutely.
gotta be honest, the more we've talked about this, there's something to that Jamie Hayter pitch. There's something to it. I'm telling you,
You know,
there's something to
honestly.
it. There is, like, if you actually, again, it's all how you present it. And I agree with everything you both said, and Charlie, like, yes,
Mhm.
you're correct. This is a unique situation they're in here, It's like, is there a way to push that, to brand that and present that could make it truly significant, which it should be for Jamie Hayter. Let's be fair. I mean, winning the belt back in London is like a huge deal.
Mhm.
It feels a million miles away right now. I can't argue with that, but I don't love a lot of the alternatives
Well,
we've
it's
got.
It's a real
a stretch,
difficult one.
mate.
And then we have to
I don't
remember we've done all this dialogue. We don't even know if Jamie's cleared or he's gonna be
Well,
cleared.
yeah, that's
Like we don't
Yeah.
know if he's gonna be good to go.
Close
I've
up.
could
mentioned
talk ourselves
Danielson, and
into
he's
it,
fucked.
just-
So,
Yeah, I don't think Daniels is making the call.
Yeah.
honestly.
No, he'll probably come out to do like a promo or whatever,
Yeah.
but he ain't.
You gotta
gonna
hit his
wrestle,
music.
I don't think.
But
Go hit Final Countdown, man. I don't care if he doesn't wrestle. Just
nice
give me the
little
song.
moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Final countdown, Busaiku knee.
Could
Get
you
him
do,
out of
like-
there.
Eddie Marks? Nah. Yeah. No.
I mean,
That's
amazing.
I'd take it as a main.
It's another one
For
where
me,
it's,
That's
it's
for
in that.
us. Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd be thrilled with it. It's another one of those matches that's in that slot of like that's a great second from the top, Like that's what a
Yeah.
lot of these matches are. It's a
think
strange one.
if Eddie didn't have the G1, they really could have built that as the main. But because he's not back on TV until like 2
Yeah.
weeks before the show, it's a difficult one. I would take that as the main because,
Yeah, absolutely.
like, I'm really.
The more I'm
looking
thinking
forward
about,
to that
like,
match.
if they had 5 weeks to cook, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, of course, it could be the fucking main. But
Yeah.
It's just like if Mox was champ, I think it would.
I think what Eddie done in 2 weeks when he was like when he was last in AEW, just gone. You know,
Eddie can do a lot.
Over 2 weeks, he feels like the main character.
So can Mox. I mean,
he
was.
Fuck it, they should just do the Bucks FTR one that you pitched, Monty. Just do that. Do that.
Free falls.
It feels safe.
We'll fight the restraining order. Yeah,
it feels safe.
That match, that crowd could be completely exhausted, and I still think that match would absolutely rock the building. They would just get them back.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can let that one fly.
The Bucks winning the tag titles in the main event at Wembley doesn't appeal to you.
Think of the alternatives.
In a 5-star match.
If you're asking me if I'd rather see the Young Bucks beat FTR for their third AEW World Heavyweight Tag Team Championship reign, or those freaks never touch my goats again, I'm going with the latter every time, baby.
Nah, man.
Freak. Stay away from Matt and Nick.
Ayo,
I want to see it.
Think of the alternatives for the Bucks on that card if they don't face FTR.
Look, I'm thinking of these alternatives, and all I gotta say is join the Dark Order, Chuck.
You're
We're here.
Stop.
No, I'm putting my foot down. No. We're not doing it. I'm not letting you do this.
I got the Dark Order hand up.
I don't know. It feels like you just use the word, Monty. It feels like the safe pick. It feels, looking at the cards on the table, it might be the right pick. I don't know.
It's the only pick.
How long can TK hold out before he starts putting some matches on this show? I think this is like the last week he can announce something.
I agree.
You think he has to say something tonight?
He has to at least have talent acknowledge the show is happening.
Yeah.
Because
that would be
we
nice,
have a match for All Out. We know a match for All Out, and we know nothing about All In.
Wait, what's the All Out match?
The Royal Rampage, the winner was for the TNT title shot at
All Out.
Oh, I don't give a fuck.
That was so weird.
I don't give a fuck about
it'd be a great time.
What?
The fact that we know an All Out match before an All In match is mind-boggling. Join the Dark Order.
It's very
almost something very spiteful.
Very, very spiteful.
No.
But yeah, man, I'm thinking FTR Bucks is the safe option at the moment, you know. We got a couple of super chats, so please keep them coming and we'll pull them up. Showtime Spurs $5. With Cole and MJF, I'd rather them do the turn when people are really at their peak of interest than waiting until it goes stale. Well, you don't have to go. You don't have to go like either end of the scale. You know, find a nice medium. You know, where people are invested enough where it hurts, but it's not like they've lost all the momentum and it's stale. You know, it doesn't have to be peak or the end. You know, so
I don't even think this is as close as big as it could get. Like I think this could really draw people in. Bro, MJF's won me over with this. I don't fucking like MJF.
Yeah, man.
He's won me over with this.
I think they really should use Wembley as like a device to like really hammer it home with this, whether it's doing a turn or doing something like what Joe said. You know,
they would be great for. It seems like AEW is really going to try with the media here to actually push this event like in a broad way. I saw they had Paul White over here yesterday, which is fucking incredible. Max and Cole would be a great act to use for those kind of spots, you know? Yeah. Those two guys doing media 100%. Spots together, they could do a lot. Good morning, Britain. Yeah, well.
MJF on Good Morning Britain would be...
it'd be incredible.
It'd get some good memes and content.
It'd be good TV. It would.
It would.
Who would you send to do Loose Women?
Great question. This is the kind of question that I was built to answer, I feel. Damn.
Just trying to think who would be the funniest.
Bowens.
Yeah.
How do I get MJF in the room with Pierce Morgan? That's what I want.
Oh my god.
Don't worry. They're like magnets, mate. They'll attract to each other before long.
Don't worry in a room together, bro.
That is
television.
Oh.
Wow,
Piers Morgan calling him the greatest of all time, you know.
James Corden doesn't do carpool karaoke anymore, does he? That would have been a real hoot with some of them.
Yeah.
Everyone
Well,
hates James
OC
Corden.
in the
don't
room
they?
with Pierce Morgan,
Yeah.
and Pierce Morgan not understanding that's a gimmick and thinking this is like really what OC
Ricky
does.
Starks and Moose Women's a good shout. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Nah, you're good.
Big starts.
Nah, you could like, especially if he's a heel, and you just have him like go like full dick, you know.
I'm trying to figure out what the best spot is for Eddie's
Explain
media
Loose
run.
Women. It's
Yeah.
a talk show in the UK. Sorry, I should have given some context to that. Yeah, it's a talk show.
It's quite the show.
It is. Yeah, it's something. Stacey Solomon talking to fucking Ricky Starks would be so funny.
We're losing ourselves to the Brit.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm just popping myself.
Callum
over
said
here.
Eddie on Graham Norton
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
with his Tim's on and a jersey. Yeah.
The
Right.
elite should go on the chase. Oh my god.
Oh my
Eddie with
God.
Jonathan Ross, you know.
Why is it called
Real late night talk show, you know.
Oh man.
Incredible.
There's some good
Yeah.
options.
Brainbuster, $4.99. MJF Cole win on Saturday. MJF Cole versus FTR2 at Wembley. They lose. Cole turns on MJF. Cole versus MJF at All Out. That's my ideal situation. So
Logically,
yeah, because
it
like
makes sense.
yeah, it does. I was gonna say because Punk's got a lot on his plate. It's not like he has to face
Yeah.
MJF at All Out.
What
you know?
is the rush for Punk MJF?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just think then the question is, are we happy with MJF and Cole versus FTR as the main event, which is what it probably would have to be in this scenario. That doesn't feel quite right, does it?
I can't,
especially as a rematch.
I can't let
right?
those freaks close out Wembley. I'm sorry, bro.
No, but like that does feel like part of the challenge here, right? It's like
I need it more now. You know?
Yo, come on, bro. We don't gotta be spiteful.
I'm trying to be objective. I'm just,
we don't gotta be spiteful here.
It feels like Max and Cole, if they're not going to be in the singles match, it feels like their tag is like kind of the go-to main event, which is an interesting one.
Yeah. Sorry, just AO saying we don't need to be spiteful after telling me to join the Dark Order 10 minutes ago. It's an incredible thing.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If FTR main events Wembley, 24-hour stream's canceled. It's not happening.
Well, you're hosting it, so.
It's for everybody in the galaxy who think this is funny. Shit ain't funny. Stream over.
You know what we should do? We should probably plug our Dynamite watch along.
Good idea.
You know? Ayo, do you want to do that whilst I draft up the tweet to do the same thing?
Yes. Come watch AEW Dynamite with us on the Russell Pierce Twitch channel. It will be me, Chuck, Marcus, Rob, and Manny the Hooper. It's always a good time. Lots of laughs. Link is in the chat. Link is in the bio. Pull up. A lot of fun.
Yeah, man. We've been doing good on these streams. Ayo's been hosting these AEW Dynamite watch along streams, you know, and they're a good time, man. They're a good time.
I'm back for Collision this Saturday.
You doing Collision?
I'm Collision, man. Collision.
I
real worker.
think I'm busy on Saturday, so I won't be there for that one. I'll be there tonight.
Right, live on Twitch tonight for our Dynamite watch along. What a fantastic bit of business that will be. Alright, Joe, you want to read this super chat for me, please, brother?
Bruh, $5 says MJF versus Cole for the main, capitalizing the heat while people care about them so much. Put the belt back on the top of the card. It's tough. It's tough to argue with the point about the belt. The belt could benefit from having a match at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah. Oh, stop using logic.
I'm not against MJF Cole to main event one day. I just don't know how they go.
To be honest.
I'm not sure how you go about it and make all the pieces fit. I don't think anything you can do, all the pieces are gonna fit perfectly, but hey man, TK's the TK legend of this point, so we'll see.
Oh yes, as we've said, you know, Tony he sticks to his plans, doesn't he? And you know, Adam Cole was the guy that like announced in Wembley with Tony Khan, wasn't he? So like, you know, or am I wrong and just you know?
No, you're right.
No, he was.
So
it's like his gimmick in AEW, right? Like he announces Tony's thing.
AEW's first ever Tokyo show. Adam Cole's gonna announce it.
God, that's going to be incredible when that happens. I'll handle this, guys. Don't worry. Margaret,
Maggie T.
$4.99 says a nice segment with Piers. I should have read this before because I didn't see Ice Cube.
This is art. This is art.
Nice segment with Piers, MJF, Ice Cube, and Joe Holbert. All four nice men with similar beliefs. Joe, I love you like a son. Joe Thatcher sounds nice. Depends who you ask, really. But I will look. I always say if you're going to do it right. That is an incredible super chat. To be fair, that's great stuff.
Joe Thatcher is a name of like renowned. Like that's a name of dignity. Like that's a you don't just throw that name around. Like you say you got Joe Thatcher. Like people think you're somebody.
Well, if I was to use that name as like a sort of podcast stage name, it'd be very apparent I was paying homage to Timothy, right? That would be clear, right? If that ever does happen down the line, folks, please keep that in mind. But Andrew the Giant, £5 says, never thought I'd be popping for a Dana Brooke match in 2023, but I was. He'll be popping for Tony D on Twitter last night. Who's going to be popping next week? My God. It's an extravagant question. Who's going to be popping next week?
Popping for Tony D on Twitter last night. Who's going to be popping next week? I mean, Tony D, bro. He's about to win. Tony D and Stacks are about to win the titles, you know. Stacks is probably going to impress, you know.
So you're going to be popping next week.
Yeah. that's very eloquent way of putting it, you know.
What day and time is Great American Dash?
I have no idea.
Let me see what's going on here.
Is it like one of their weekly specials?
Yeah, they're doing it as a pay-per-view. It's this Saturday or Sunday, I think.
Whereabouts is it? Is it in the PC or on the road?
I believe it's on the road.
Good.
On the road again.
WrestleTix.
It is in Cedar Park, Texas.
Sweet.
Not bad.
Bro, NXT doesn't travel. And when they do, they just go to like these random ass.
Play safe. Texas is pretty safe, you know.
Sunday. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say if there was if the show like flowed into Collision, we might just do one big stream, but it doesn't.
Now, this is spiteful. I'm going to pull it up just to segue into something that I want to bring on. Trust the Process 34 says Monty and DeSantis will be popping. Bro, did you see what Steph DeLander said about the NXT private show for DeSantis and his kids?
Like, bro, if she didn't give that random interview on a platform that none of us ever heard about, we would just never know about the possible next president of the United States was just having a private NXT show in the warehouse.
Makes you think.
Like, so what else is going on down there, bro?
Almost every wrestler there was like, that's not noteworthy at all. I'm going to go tell one of the journalists about, training or something.
Out of the hundreds of people that have been fired from NXT since 2019, nobody said anything about it. Like,
that was like their favorite day at work, bro. Let's be completely real. Like, what percentage of that roster was like, that was fucking weird, right? Well, that was gross. Most of them probably left the ring like, finally, I've lived my dream.
I think like 20% were disgusted. Another 20% were like, who the fuck is Ron DeSantis? And then 60% were like, that was the greatest honor of my entire life.
That seems fair.
That was.
I'd move the 2020 to like 30-10. I think 30 was like, who is that guy? Wrestlers and
I think a lot of people.
To be fair, Manny the Hooper said the same thing on a podcast. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was like last week too.
It was.
He might be our next president, man. That's who he fucking is.
Yeah.
And he's one of a kind, bro.
He always has been. He's something else.
Jeremy Corbin.
Hey, man.
Monty, we still on for destroying the proletariat Thursday.
Big Jeremy Corbin, you know. I mean, give me a call.
The timing on that was incredible after the conversation we were having. The quick switch. I looked away from the screen and I heard Jeremy Corbin. I was like, wait, what?
Carl Marks, $2 super chat. At Jeremy, tell your mom I miss her. Bro, does any other podcast get like these? They get these.
What is happening?
Not in pro wrestling, I don't think. They've now shifted to like they're not even about wrestling anymore. Normally they're like loosely about wrestling, but like
Yeah.
that 1-2 punch there was nothing at all to do with
You've often
wrestling
said
in
it,
any way, shape, or
We've
form.
often, Wrestle Purists, it's a lifestyle podcast, right? You've often said that. Wrestling just kind of comes out along the way. It's about culture, politics, life, health, and professional wrestling, of course.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Let's talk about Dynamite then, because it's going to happen in just over 30 minutes, and there's a few interesting things to look at. Let's start with MJF and Adam Cole because we spoke about them a lot already, so we'll keep it flowing, and we'll hear from them tonight. I don't know in what context, I don't know if it's going to be a pre-tape, I don't know if it's going to be a live promo. Hopefully it's a live promo because they always come off better, and this is big business at the minute, so I think the people in whatever city they're in are going to want to see them tonight. Charlie, what sort of storyline progression are you expecting now?
I'm not really sure because it's just going to be them talking about the match on Saturday, right? And like building some hype for it and that. I kind of expect an FTR appearance because I was expecting a MJF and Adam Cole appearance on Saturday, and then that didn't happen. So I anticipate FTR popping up here, but they might like after the bit last Wednesday, they might do like a little bit more dissension between Cole and MJF with like the belt and that. I don't really know. There's like 4 different ways they could take this promo, so I just hope it lands.
Yeah, I'm pretty much at the same stance, to be honest. Joe, are you expecting anything too much here, mate, or just kind of keeping it safe?
The big thing to look for here is what Roderick Strong does, and I'm not saying that as part of my bit. I think it's actually true because
that exact quote has been used as a bit.
I know. As I was saying it, I was like, "Oh no!" But I said earlier, I think he's going to be the finish on Saturday. If you see him a lot tonight, and if he's central in the angle, I don't think that's as likely. If he's kind of in the background, he's just watching on, I'd be more confident that Roddy's going to be doing something on Saturday. So I think Roderick Strong's place in it remains kind of interesting. I'm not writing off that it may just not be important at all, but these are the games we play, and we'll see. But I think it may be one of those wacky pre-tapes, to be fair. Time will tell.
Absolutely. I've decided to finally remove your booth from the screen, because it's like he doesn't deserve to be here,
I should rip these motherfuckers down, but I just left them.
But yeah, Ayo, what you expecting here, mate?
Not those 2 fucking criminals FTR to show up on my show. That's not what I'm expecting. They caught me by surprise last time. Bro, training order was in effect. But,
Did you call the police immediately?
I immediately dialed 911.
Yeah.
I let them know that women and children were in danger and that they need to intervene immediately. They laughed and hung up and told me to stop calling. That's neither here nor there. I think I didn't really think about it until Joe brought it up early in his podcast. Like, obviously, Roddy has something to do with this story, but I didn't think he was gonna get screw them over or anything. But now I'm starting to think that's what's gonna happen because he's still selling this whole Emerald Flosion into the chair thing, but he's done with Joe. So what purpose would there be for him to keep selling this injury other than to disarm fans into thinking oh, Roddy's on the shelf for now until he turns on MJF or Cole or both and costs them. That's probably where they're going with this. What they do tonight, I'm not sure. Hopefully it's just a nice little pre-tape, nice little in-ring promo, and no racists find their way into my ring.
Might be too late for that.
He couldn't help himself.
By the time the dark match is done, you'll probably be fucked on that front.
Jeremy Corbyn's reply to Karl Marx saying, "We miss you too, Father. $2. Appreciate the $2. Cody Willis, $1.99. when Cody wins at Starcade, who does he face at Mania? I mean,
Starcade.
he's facing Roman, bro. You know, so it's what we're
He's-
doing. You know, it's never
He's
in doubt.
winning he's winning the belt at Starcade, is what Jack Crosby has declared. So who's he
Hey,
defending
man.
it against? Gunther?
I'm
Who
down
should
with
win?
it. Anwar Starwin, $5. If Eddie makes it on the Wrestle Kingdom card in any fashion, there are going to be a lot of people with happy tears. Keep being spiteful, it pops me. I mean, people are spiteful on this channel, you know. So
They are?
Monster's
mean-
the worst of them.
yeah.
I've heard
And,
that. I've heard that.
One more. But as always, keep the super chats coming. Seth Rich Rogan, $5. The only way DeSantis is becoming president involves like 5 playing clashes. I mean, it's
Only
still
like-
possible,
Only like
you
two.
know. Like, it's still possible. You know?
Only like 2 plane crashes and Trump going to prison, and DeSantis is president.
I mean, you're more informed than me. But yeah, elsewhere on Dynamite, we have Pac vs Gravity. You've already spoke about that earlier on. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Taya Valkyrie. Very interesting build to this last week.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, they did something, Charlie.
There
you
was
know?
a
Yeah, that was a promo.
that was I don't know, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but when Tyre started going in that direction and said Britt's name, that was like a gasp from me. Like, oh my god, what?
I think
But
Tyre joined
we're all
the
adults
Outcast,
here.
you know, so-
What,
Yeah.
what the fuck's going on with Ty Valkyrie, bro? How does she keep getting these matches?
So here's the thing. I actually thought the Sky match was like fun. Like, I had no issue with it.
Mhm.
But it is she has like the most consistent television usage of anyone in the whole division. It's fascinating. I don't really know why.
You're like, fuck it. She could just lose to anyone. She could lose to everybody in the Outcast storyline. She could lose to everybody in the TBS division. It just is what it is. Put on TV every week.
Yeah, we'll see how this one. We'll see if they can have a nice sort of match. Yeah. Speaking of nice matches, Orange Cassidy, AR Fox International Championship. Another interesting build. Orange Cassidy just simply asked if his mate could have a title shot. Then he got one. You know. AR Fox versus Orange Cassidy, another match in the great reign of Orange Cassidy's International Championship run. I'm expecting this to be another one that he adds to the collection of consistent, good title defenses. Not really expecting anything overly spectacular, but I do think it will be very good. Any thoughts?
It'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like AR Fox. It's an interesting matchup because it's a babyface match, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
they're both super experienced, so I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to navigate that.
Big fan of both of them. Looking forward to the match.
Mhm.
This is the type of shit people said we won't get anymore after AEW got all those ex-WWE guys. But we're still here, man. We're still cooking.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. I'm sure IR Fox is going to impress as well, as he always does when he gets a chance on TV. So, Orange Cassidy is Orange Cassidy, man. He's killing it. So, John Moxley and Claudio versus the Lucha Bros versus Best Friends. This could be a really good one for obvious reasons. Quite fired up for this one. I do like a good trio tag team, whatever. How do you even call these? Because it's not
Triple
trios,
threat.
but it's not a six.
Triple threat
threat
tag.
tag. You know,
Yeah.
I guess.
AEW have like their own name for these type of matches.
Oh, I don't know.
Clusterfuck. That's what they usually are. So
Pop.
they're good though. They're good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I
Bro,
enjoy
you know what
them.
pops me about these matches? They're like, it's a triple threat, so there's no DQ. But also, y'all gotta tag in and out. What the fuck you mean we gotta tag in and out? There's no DQ.
They did this with the match on Ring of Honor as well, where they had the 4 tag teams. It's so stupid. Just
like,
let them wrestle. Just let them
Mhm.
wrestle. Anyway, this is
Yeah,
going to be
just
great.
kind
I'm
of-
very excited.
Yeah, I think it'll be really good. Obviously, Claudio and Max, you know,
They don't miss the other.
fresh out of blood and guts. Well, not fresh out of, but you know, pretty fresh out of. You know,
Mm.
blood and guts, man. I wonder if we get any more like Fallout. I wonder if we get any like Don and Takeshita. I know Takeshita was over in DDT recently, so I don't know if he's back over in the States yet. What's going on there? But yeah, man, blood and guts. We'll see what's kind of going on. Like, what do we think's next for the Blackpool Combat Club after? Because we are assuming that like them and the Elite, like that's done for now. You know.
Yeah, they shook hands and went their separate ways.
Yeah, especially after the article that
So
came
what we're
out
thinking?
earlier today.
I hope there's some follow up in terms of Moxley's decision. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last week on the review show, I don't remember a lot from last week's review show because I was dying on the air, but I do
Fair.
remember we got in pretty good detail about how that could be interesting for the John Moxley character.
Mhm.
I hope we get some of that. I mean, obviously the match is going to be fun, but you know, like from a TV point of view, there's some interesting stuff to explore. So hopefully we get that. If not this week, at the very least next week. But really, we should get it tonight. I feel like so. We'll see.
It's kind of what I'm
Probably
hoping
some
for with
Death
the match.
Triangle stuff as well.
Yeah.
After,
Yeah,
like,
they
Death
did
Quarters
tease the
one.
Death Triangle shit after the Ring of Honor match.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Like they used that pay-per-view to build to like half the Dynamite. It was something.
Yeah. Claudio he's
Oh.
just on fire.
Machine.
He's unbelievable, bro.
He
He's a
is.
machine.
His AEW run has gone better than anybody could have hoped. I think everybody was like, "Oh, finally, Claudio's gonna get treated like he deserves," but I don't think they thought it was gonna go this well, bro.
He's just so just extraordinarily good, you know? Like just it's actually absurd how great of a pro wrestler that dude is. Like it's not really fair.
Yeah, especially for his when you consider like people don't ever like bring it up with Claudio, but bro, he's like 42, 43.
Yeah, bro. He's not young, bro.
I think he's the best he's ever been too.
Yeah.
Like because he's more confident than ever too, you know.
I've never enjoyed him bell to bell more than I do right now.
Yeah. And Blackpool Combat Club, like when they wrestle as a unit, they always make a point of like he's the actual killer.
Yeah.
Like Moxley always does that. When he teams with Claudio and he trios with Claudio, Moxley will bump 5 times more so that Claudio's bumps matter. Like they treat him like he's a destroyer because that's the way he wrestles. I mean,
bro, it's like because this dude like Mox is like, oh, I'm the crazy psychopath, and this is technically my group. Like I'm the de facto leader, and Danielson's the best in the world and the living legend. But yo, who y'all really gotta worry about is Claudio. He'll fucking kill you, and also Yudi's here too. But I think I love that dynamic so much, bro. Like,
yeah, me too.
Blackpool Combat Club, bro. This is a real group. This is the second best faction in all of wrestling right now. Right after the Elite, real shit.
Absolutely, 100%. But yeah, I think the Death Triangle. What someone said in the live chat, I think one of you guys said it as well. I think that's definitely on. And as good as this match, I'm sure will be. I do hope that they do like something with
sure.
it, you know.
Yeah.
What do you We talked about Wembley earlier. What do you think Pac's doing? Because Pac needs a big spot on the show, right? Like that goes without saying. I think. How do we think that factors into what he's doing at Wembley?
I was hoping to be like Pac Ospreay, but now I'm thinking it's like Jericho Ospreay. So I'm not sure where this leaves Pac.
Hidden Blade versus Judas effect, brother.
Get ready.
Clash of the Titans.
Strap in, people. You know,
we've found our main event. We've found our main event, folks.
Oh, jeez.
Could you imagine the dialogue on the timeline?
Or the Hidden Blade versus the Judas effect, like on a big, like fucking portrait.
That's exactly how Jericho would want the match sold.
Wembley Way,
this effect is just as deadly as the Hidden Blade, guys.
Wembley Way, they have the big like screen, right, where they put whatever the event is. Like the idea of Jericho in Painmaker gear with his dukes up, like
oh my god, that'd be something.
As good as it gets, folks.
No. But back to Dynamite. Yeah, we've only got one more thing, so we'll get into this, and then we'll go for a couple more super chats, and then we'll get out of here before we switch over to Twitch for the Dynamite watch along. So I'm pretty sure this will bookend whether it will be opening or closing Dynamite tonight. But Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland. This has been, they've been interacting the past few weeks and stuff, and the whole Nick Wayne thing playing into it as well, and etc. etc. These two, as a lot of people who are watching this will be very aware of, have very great chemistry. I think they've already displayed it once in AEW, but it goes a lot further back than that. There's two people who just kind of get it when wrestling each other. Which is always great with Swerve, because for as good as Swerve is, he has a very unique style, and sometimes when you're watching him, it takes people a minute to catch up to it, or even just don't completely get it at all, You won't have to have any of those worries tonight with these two. This should be really good, man. AO, I'm suspecting that you're very fired up for this one.
Darby versus Swerve 3. Darby's won twice now with the Last Supper pin, I believe. I think Swerve fucking kills him tonight, bro. Like I think he's due for a win. He's lost twice. He got kicked out of the Royal Rampage by Darby. I think it's time for some comeuppance here.
Yeah.
This will lead to what I'm assuming is going to be a Wembley program. And then man, I'm excited. My guy Swerve in a big spot. Better fucking winners. I'm gonna start throwing around some accusations on the timeline towards Tony Khan. It's getting nasty, bro. I thought we was finally gonna get one. I thought he was gonna be the international mogul. Tony Khan and Aryan Elite Wrestling snatched that hope and dream away from me, bro. Right out of we didn't get it. But it's okay because he's gonna beat Darby Allin tonight on Dynamite.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Charlie, Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland. Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. They've had great matches before. They're going to have another great one. I'd like to see this main event, honestly. I think they could have a really good main event with it, especially if they get like 15, 20 minutes with it. It's gonna be awesome. It always is, like when these two are in the ring together. But like Ao was saying, like it is time for Swerve to get that win. Like, especially like going into Wembley, he should be treated as like an upper mid card player for that show. So he needs to like.
Darby's lost a couple lately as well. Am I wrong?
Yeah, he's alright. He can win another.
He's got that big all out match versus Luchasaurus coming up.
We got to switch that to Christian.
Bro, what's going on, bro?
I am not flying to Chicago to watch Luchasaurus do the dance with anyone, mate.
I'm afraid I got some bad news, Joe.
What's going on, bro? Like, even if you're like, all right, we got the international title now, we're pushing this as our main secondary belt. That doesn't mean you just piss on the TNT title, bro. Like, what's going on with that battle?
It's so bad.
Yeah, I kind of just assumed Christian was like her, and I watched him on Saturdays for 25 minutes. Please get that belt on him. Make him the actual champion. Hope that's what they do.
The Darby's been pinned in a couple tags. That's what he's been.
He got pinned on Saturday, right?
He got pinned on Saturday, and he got pinned not last Wednesday, but the Garcia Sammy tag as well. I believe he was pinned in that as well.
He could take one more.
It does feel like Swerve has to win this, to be fair.
Yeah, I just thought that was worth bringing up because Swerve's losing, so it's like, Darby's been eating some pins lately, and he doesn't usually eat consecutive pins. You know what
Honestly,
I mean?
If they hadn't wrestled in AEW before, you could argue Darby can take this one because Swerve won the match with Nick Wayne, but because they've wrestled twice in AEW and he's won both of them, it feels like Swerve needs to get this one. Like,
if they are going to the coffin match at Wembley, Darby doesn't lose those. I don't think he's ever going to lose one, honestly. Yeah. So that's a schedule for Darby. So his whole thing is, you might have beat the shit out of me for 8 months straight, but guess who won the blow off? Me. And then he just like moves on to the next thing. So it's part of his whole resiliency gimmick and shit. So I think he could take some beatings from now until Wembley goes over at Wembley.
Match should be great. Definitely.
Absolutely. And that's the matches that was on the graphic that I saved to my phone earlier on. I don't know if Tony's announced any other matches on his Twitter, which he has been known to do. But I'll have a quick look on his Twitter, see if he's done so. And no one said anything in the chat either, so I don't think he has done any of that. No, he hasn't. He hasn't announced anything else. So that's Dynamite. It looks like it'll be a pretty good show, man. It looks like it'll be a pretty good show. Like I said earlier, I am interested to see if we do get any Dine and Take business on here because, of course, we know that they're, Take's a big international star, man. We don't know if he's even in the country, so someone in the chat might know, but I don't know. Anyway, some super chats and we're going to get out of here. If you want to get one in, get it in ASAP, and we will get to it. We are going straight over to Twitch, so we hope you can join us over there for the Dynamite watch along. Bruh, $2. Appreciate you. What's your best and worst case scenario G1 winner? Worst case scenario that I think is realistic is David Finlay for me personally. Best case scenario would be Eddie, but that seems even more and more unrealistic. I don't even think it's mathematically possible. Is Eddie out yet?
No,
No,
he's not out
D
yet.
still
block.
alive.
It's really even. I've
Yeah,
got the points
close.
in my phone.
Okay.
There's only. It's like there's 2 people with 6. There's 2
Because
people
Evil's
with
leading the
4.
block, isn't it?
He
Don't.
was.
Yeah,
he's,
bro. He's got 6 points.
He's got, because he won today, right? Beat Hanare, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So my worst case, it's tied between Evil and Finley. But
Finley's got 6. Evil's got 6. Tamatonga has 6 points
Oh no.
Pop.
in C block, and then
Big
Shingo and
numbers,
Eddie
man.
have 4. So
Me
The
and Hulbert
issue
try
with
to tell the
Eddie-
people, some brothers don't mess around, man, you know?
No
the
Tonga.
issue with Eddie only
my
having 4
best case
points
scenario
right?
is David Finley. So that's why I was laughing.
nice.
Islanders. Close
Best
enough.
case scenario for me is Eddie, but I don't think that's realistic.
Mhm.
Best realistic case scenario for me is Billy, but I'd be happy with Billy and Naito. Yeah, that's what I got.
Billy and Naito, bro.
Is Cole Anderson in this
No,
year's
no,
G1?
The machine gun didn't make it this year.
He didn't.
He's too busy. He's too busy booked against who's he carrying Cross?
I saw that graphic. Booked against Karrion Kross in a singles match. Bro, what do they got AJ Styles doing, bro? I checked up on SmackDown. Is it like 2 months ago, and they were feuding with these losers. Like,
Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Everyone's so against David Finley in the chat. You
Well, we
guys
know
should
you're
start
not,
seeing
Charlie.
him. Absolutely not. I'm rooting for
the
him.
issue with Eddie is, right, even though he has 4 points, he's not that far behind. If he was gonna win this thing, or at least make it out the block, he's like losing to people that you would think would be kind of easy points for him. Because like New Japan has no problem pinning Ishii. They pin him all the fucking time, bro. And
But
Eddie
he
lost
beat
that match
Shingo.
today.
Yeah, he did beat Shingo.
So
The G1's
It is
always hard
difficult.
like that because I've noticed over the past few years, it's like, you know, sometimes someone will start really hot and you think, oh, they're going to win the block, and then they just
And they
don't.
lose,
You
they
know,
drop
like, and
five.
it's hard to predict when they're like going through like the first stages of the G1 because like I think they deliberately try to throw you off with people.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Jeff Cobb
remember
has
when-
8 points.
It was years ago now, but there was one G1 where Shelton got out to like a 4-0 start. And it was like a big thing. People were like discussing about it, and he lost his next 5. That was, that was
Yeah, that's what I mean. They do
Yeah.
that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Ghetto loves that shit, definitely.
Like Jeff Cobb is leading D block.
shout out to Cobb, man. Had a great match.
He's had a great G1, honestly.
Oh, fair play. He's good, man. It's just, you know.
I just
Yeah.
wasn't anticipating.
He got really good. Like over the past couple of years, he got really good, and he was really like he was beating Okada and shit, you know. And then it just feels like Finn kind of like just not kind of tailed off a little bit, and his performances weren't exactly the most, you know, they weren't like eye catching. It's not like he was stinking it up or anything, but he just weren't. Like if you'd feel like you'd go months without hearing about like a good Cobb match, which wasn't usually the case, you know. So him having a good G1 is absolutely good for business, man. Speaking of good for business, Mario Jude at 199. The people want a Mario Jude live performance at All In. I've heard these rumors too, Mario. I've heard them.
I'd pop. Genuinely. Pop.
Incredible. Imagine the
Just the
live
process
reaction.
34. Just the process 34. 499, I appreciate you as always. Why do people act like to be an alternative? AEW can't copy anything WWE. What's wrong with copying good aspects and putting their own spin on
Right.
bad?
This shit drives me nuts. This people don't got to realize how long WWE have been producing television.
Yeah.
They
And
have
sometimes
tried
they just do stuff
every
because
method.
it works.
Yeah, and it's like the other thing too is there was the impromptu match deal they did on Saturday, and everyone was like, "Oh, they're doing the WWE." That is not like just a WWE show. That's just a wrestling television show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now AEW have opted not to use it, which is cool. That's the part of their style. But doing an impromptu match does not mean you are now SmackDown or Raw. You know, it's like that stuff drives me nuts. To be totally honest, like I think it's such a boring.
Like
We've
things
had
like the Royal Rumble, bro. Just take it. Just take the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Who cares?
We spoke about it in the past as well, Joe, with like some of these like tropes or whatever people may call them. It's like certain things WWE have done over the past 20 years or so, and you know, to a lot of fans, it's all they know is like pretty much
Poison the
WWE
well.
on top, killing it. You know, and whether that's DQ finishes, whether it's setting up matches at the start of the show, like you just mentioned, impromptu main events and stuff like that. WWE have like abused them a lot over the years, but that doesn't mean they invented it or came up with it or whatever, or it can't work in other, other worlds. So
Best example is you can dismiss because of how they've done it over the last decade. Can they coexist? The odd couple tag teams. That is currently the hottest thing AEW has. MJF and Adam Cole is that exact trope. It's just done well. 99% of wrestling ideas, it's not the idea that's bad, it's the execution and how often you do them. And you should always judge the stuff based on its merit and its quality and its execution rather than just, I don't like this trope because Raw did it a month ago. Like that just doesn't. It's just to me that's an insane way to watch wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm getting way too heated about this at this time. Carry on.
We've spoken, like I said, bro. We've spoken about it a few times over the past couple years, really, with like AEW being around. It's like anytime there's a DQ, anytime there's something like what was on Collision, anytime there's something like anything that people class as WWE trophy that isn't a WWE trophy.
It's just wrestling,
yeah. So we're hoping Dynamite's good shit tonight. I'm sure it will be. It's a pretty decent lineup, and we are going to move over to Twitch very shortly. AO is going to take over the hosting responsibilities there. Charlie will be joining him also, along with Manny the Hooper, who has been known for his legendary watch-alongs. Marcus and Rob will also be over there, the Purist family. It's going to be a good time, as all our watch-alongs are. And that would be... Okay, we got any other plugs? Anyone got any plugs before I wrap this up?
No.
We're good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Actually, quick one. Manny and I are doing double duty tomorrow night. Join us for the flagship over here, and then we're heading over to Late Night Grin Twitch for episode 90 of The Grin. So there is a plug after all.
There we go. But yeah, man. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications on the way out. We appreciate all the super chats as always. More plugs for the website would be we've got another Athena piece on the website. We've got Hulbert's weekly match guide. We've got the Joshi guide up. We've got our match ratings out. Our wrestler of the week. Guess who? Athena. A lot of Athena propaganda going on at WrestlePurist at the moment. We love Athena. So, man, at WrestlePurist, WrestlePurist.com. Check us out. And we'll see you over at Twitch very, very shortly. We hope you can join us. So, thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. And peace.